What's up, family? Welcome to the Passion of Profits podcast, a real entrepreneurship podcast that talks about the raw and the real conversation of your entrepreneur journey into having success and freedom, all built by content and social media. And so we got a dandy here today, and it's very funny how I actually use Instagram to find this guest, which is a very interesting story. But we got my man Damon Cameron on, who's got a very unique journey, a unique story, as we've just been doing some pre-production and talking, that I'm excited to dive in to your entrepreneurship journey. So, bro, thank you for hopping on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, very interesting, right? Like how I found you, I was just telling you this, is that I just started searching people because I just moved to Indiana.
Right.
And I'm looking for other creators to collab with. And your content popped up. And this studio was kind of modeled after a studio, which I think you were using to create some content, which is super cool. And that's an interesting story in itself. And so from there, your reels popped up. And so we just kind of connected, and I saw you were doing some stuff. And it's just very interesting how Instagram served up the actual perfect person for this podcast. So I know this one's going to be a banger. So yeah, man, what is it that exactly that you do?
Yeah, so I do a little bit of everything. So right now, for my day, during the day, I do cloud engineering. So I'm in IT. So I'm a senior IT support specialist transitioning into cloud engineering. My mentor has always taught me that you make wealth in your sleep. So not only do I do cloud engineering, but I'm also a licensed realtor on a great real estate team right now with KW in the Metro South. So I'm taking those two active income streams, and I've been diversifying into real estate investing, specifically single family homes. I own a couple properties out here downtown Indianapolis that I rent to travel nurses.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my niche out here. So
right. So how did you get into the IT engineering? Like, walk me through that.
So I went to college. I went to the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. So that's kind of where I learned. I had a passion for IT. And AV a little bit. And then when I was 18, I met a real estate investor who was also a realtor. So I kind of modeled after her and then just took all the profits and invested it into long-term buy and hold real estate that I've seen tremendous success in the past couple of years.
You know, most times people go through school to get education and they stay stuck in like the corporate world, right? So where's this entrepreneurial spirit come from? Because if you got a couple of side hustles and a couple other businesses, where's the entrepreneurship play into that? Because a lot of the people that I'm working with are in that 2.0 era where they've had some experience in a certain field and they have this entrepreneurial spirit, but they don't really know if they're an expert or if it's the perfect time or they're waiting for the perfect moment to get started. So where does that entrepreneurial piece fit into what you're currently doing?
I would say number one, I realized the greatest asset I have is time. I'm 24. So you want to get in early in terms of investing or figuring out what you want to do. And I would say, again, my mentor at 18, she showed me that there was more to life than just clocking in and clocking out. When I met her, actually, I went to her house. She was in bed on a Wednesday at 2 p.m. while my parents were at work. So I realized at an early age that the 9-to-5 can be a tool that you can use to build wealth or to pursue your passion. It doesn't have to be the end all be all.
Yeah, that's interesting because I wish I would have done this when I first started, which was I burned the boats and just quit my 9-to-5 to take on the 9-to-9, right? And I wish I would have kept my 9-to-5 longer because I had a lot more anxiety. I had a lot more stress. But also, if I would have kept it, I would have had a safety net that something was coming in, but I also could have grown my business faster because I had something to cash flow it, right? As opposed to being needy enough that this content, this sales call had to work. I put that much pressure on myself. And I think I might have lost out on a few sales because I needed the sales so much. So that's a good lesson. If you're working 9-to-5, don't quit your 9-to-5 until you make enough on your side hustle to replace your full-time job. So I went back to waiting tables at that time because it wasn't working. And I worked for 6 months until I hit my goal, which was $8,333 a month. And then that's when it took me like 6 months and 29 days. And then that's when I quit and went full-time in entrepreneurship. So you're doing the IT and then real estate agent at KW, but then also active real estate investor, right? So how are you juggling and managing all of that?
So in terms of real estate investing, most of it's passive at this point in terms of I have the right systems and processes in place. I have a great team where if something goes wrong, I can call, send a text, they're going to get it done. And then just send me the invoice or let me know whatever's going on. So I would say the real estate investing side is the least stressful compared to IT, the evolution of technology. So staying up to date with that. And then I'm a newer agent. So right now I'm still in the process of learning. A lot of real estate agents know, especially with the high interest rates right now, it's a lot harder, but I'm just going to keep persevering. I'm not going to quit. So
yeah, for sure. So take me back. Like, how do we get here? Right. Like, where'd you grow up? Like, what are some key influences that you had in your life? What are some memorable moments in your life that were either a struggle or a journey that helped you through life with some lessons to be able to do all the things you're doing right now?
I would say from the beginning, I come from a teen mom, and we grew up in a women's shelter my first couple years growing up. So I kind of seen my mom and my dad start from, teen parents to where they are now, where very successful. My mom is an entrepreneur herself. So I just learned at an early age a couple things. Number one, you need to save 50% of every dollar you make, and you need to invest it. My parents taught me that since 14 when I was working at McDonald's. So to this day, I still follow that same principle. And then just having a strong work ethic, understanding nothing's going to come easy. You got to put the work in. You're going to fail your way to success. But as long as you pick yourself up and learn and keep moving forward, you'll be good.
Right. And so how old was your mom when she had you?
15.
So your mom basically grew up with you then.
Yeah.
Right. Because I have my daughter at 22 and I know like she's 19 now, but we grew up together. Like I turned into a man from like getting kicked out of multiple apartments and being evicted, getting a couple cars repossessed, like going through that journey of just trying to figure it out, waiting tables, working 2 serving jobs that wasn't even making enough ends meet. And she saw me finally step out there on the entrepreneurship journey when I found something that I could do, which was help people with social media, either to get leads or to build that personal brand. What are some things that you've seen in regards to your parents, right? Like who's the person that you found the most inspiration in?
I would say top 3 I have is my parents, so my mom and my dad, and then my great-grandmother. My great-grandmother, she passed away a couple years ago, but I always told her I was going to be successful and make her proud. So every day when things get hard or when I face challenges and adversity, I think of her. I have her as a wallpaper on my phone. And it just like, I got to figure it out. I got to do it for her. So that's where the inspiration comes from for me.
Yeah, man. And I can resonate with that because I just remember my mom working 2 jobs. She was working for during the day. She was working from 7 to 3, and then she would work 11 to 7, just to make me get through school by having to pay for it. And at the time, I wasn't grateful, but now I saw the power of hard work. I saw what hard work could produce, and my mom always had a side hustle. Like now she's at the flea market right now and in Chicago because she's doing a church convention, and she's got her van packed that I bought her a van, and then she's got it packed with her stuff. So she goes to the flea market. And so I've always seen that. And I'm like, oh, entrepreneurship. A lot of my family is in the streets, but they're all entrepreneurs, right? Yeah, so I'm like, it's been in my blood, but what can I do to make the most impact that's positive, but also make a bunch of money? And that's when I kind of got into social media. So I'm curious on when you decided to go the entrepreneurship route. Like, what were some of the first challenges that you had? Were those the first entrepreneur ventures that you started? Like, I tried real estate investing. I tried opening up a convenience store. I tried crypto educator. Like, what are some other entrepreneurship hustles that you tried? Or did this one work first try?
No, absolutely not. I've tried social media marketing business where I was managing other entrepreneurs' social media. Kind of similar to this, but not on this magnitude. What else have I tried? I've tried that was the main one, I would say, the social media marketing business, specifically for realtors and other entrepreneurs to help them build their brand. I tried a lot of things. I've tried sales. I've tried Cutco. I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah, the knives.
Yeah. I've tried a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, I just found like my passion is with real estate investing.
Yeah.
Providing homes for people, kind of less fortunate in situations where, you know, my parents were and growing up, and IT. Like I'm a nerd. I love IT.
That's so good. Well, I'm big on affinity, so I'm curious, why real estate? Like, what's your passion or desire to like help those people?
I would say just the lack. Well, in America alone, we're about 2 million, don't quote me on it, but I believe we're 2.1 million homes short of the population. So my journey from the beginning of buying a home and then renting it out, just seeing like the kids playing in, you know, the living room, and like seeing the moms being so grateful for the opportunity if they have shallow credit, if they have an eviction or lower income or whatever the situation is, and just providing people a quality place to call home.
So how are you helping people right now?
So right now my portfolio is kind of diversified. So I have properties that I rent by the room, that range from $700 to $900 a month. So that primarily helps lower income people, college students, young professionals starting in their entry careers that may have a lot of student loan debt. So I help kind of lower income men and women in that aspect, and then also lease options, so rent to owns. So this strategy primarily helps people who have shallow credit or who can't go to the bank and get a loan to buy a home. So I'll basically rent to own. They rent the property from me for 2 to 3 years, get their finances in check, and then have the option to buy the home at the end of the lease if they decide to.
Yeah, that's so good. Obviously, I found you on Instagram, so you're doing content. Like, where does that play into what you're doing, and then what made you start using social media to grow your business or to get attention out there in the first place?
Just primarily to build my brand. So my mentor taught me that social media is a great way to get people to know, like, and trust you, which in turn will help me as in my realtor business, as well as as a real estate investor with partnerships. I just had a partner come out yesterday who came out for the entire weekend. We looked at some properties, we looked at neighborhoods, and he's the next partner up. And our goal is to buy another property out here in Indy by the end of the year. So social media has just helped me build my brand and help people know, like, and trust me overall.
Well, when people hear this word brand and like build my brand, and like it's like a buzzword now, but it's like, what's the purpose? Like, why are you building your brand, right? Like, in your mind, what is this going to attribute, or what is this going to help you do? Like, what's the purpose of you specifically wanting to build your brand?
This will help me get clients as a realtor, but also attract joint venture partners. That's kind of how social media has helped me scale as well, because now people reach out to me like, hey, I got 20,000, I got 30,000. I see what you're doing. I want to invest with you. So in turn, it will help me scale my real estate portfolio, but also get leads as a realtor.
Right. And so using social media is a powerful tool because it connects everybody. But also social media, whatever platform you use, specifically for Instagram right now, it already knows everything about everybody. And so when you hit the search, social media has changed from followers to interest-based media. So anything that you're interested in is going to show up in your search, specifically content, right? Like this background was in one of the reels that you were shooting as a talking head reel, and you were the perfect person that I was looking for. Somebody young, with multifaceted, nerdy about what you're doing, but then also knowing that you need to post on social media to attract, bring awareness, and bring trust to your brand. And it's doing all of those things, right? Like, just thinking through this conversation here, this is perfect because I'm looking to talk to people who think the way that you think. I'm looking for more people, and I couldn't find anybody physically. So I went to social media to find the perfect guest, right? Which is super cool. So let's talk about content. So when did you start making content? How did you start out? When did it start working for you?
So I started off doing my own content. I don't. Some of it may still be up. You have to scroll. It was bad, but I was just young and hungry. So when I was in college, I was actually shooting content in my dorm room.
Okay.
Obviously, it wasn't the best quality, but I was just learning and starting off. And then I hired a professional out in Miami, short form content, and they've been taking over from there. So we do like short form content, long form content, and things like that. And then we're looking to do more podcasts as well.
Yeah.
To grow my brand as well.
Yeah, I've seen that podcast content or just doing podcasts. It's really the easiest way to like build brand and trust, because like people just can listen in on your ideas, your perception of things, but they could just get to know you. And then it's long content, right? So Google made a study that it's a 7-11-4 rule, that people need to consume 7 hours of your content with 11 touch points over 4 different platforms. So got Instagram, probably Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, email. You're getting those impressions in. And if you can do long form content, you can also clip from it,
right,
get shorts from it. That's going to give them the bars or the piece of the little treat. Like when you go to Costco, it's like, hey, do you want to try this? And then they'll go down the aisle to look for it.
Right.
And that's really the mechanism. The personal brand funnel is what I call it, is what we use to be able to get attention, which attention turns into money. It's like the new oil. So what's kind of your process for ideation, scripting, recording? Like, walk me through kind of your process to make videos.
So when I go out to Miami and work with short form, we brainstorm kind of what the current market is in the Indianapolis metro. My most recent deal, we've determined that a lot of people like seeing the before and afters. They also like seeing the property going from vacant to furnished if we're doing like midterm rentals or Airbnb or whatever this exit strategy will be. But I wouldn't say like going into it, I don't have any like scripts. Like when I get there, we have a conversation and then we kind of, okay, I think this would be a good idea. This would be a good idea. And we kind of work together.
Okay. So you don't script out stuff. You just have ideas of concepts and then you just Jay-Z the reels?
Not necessarily. So like I just came out with a book. So the next time I go out to Miami, we'll definitely do some reels on that. Maybe a couple chapters like on that. But primarily they just ask me a series of questions and then they kind of think, okay, I think this would be good. Because at the end of the day, my goal with social media is to attract clients as a realtor and to attract JV partners. So I'm primarily talking about my real estate deals, the real estate market, the macros, the micros of the economy in my market, how to find tenants, how to deal with contractors, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. So I want to come back to the book, but I want to really think through and talk to maybe a realtor that's watching this, which is like, I don't want to be an influencer, right? I don't want to be dancing on TikTok. But can you kind of talk to that person that's like, I know I need to be using content to grow my business, but I got these limiting beliefs that, it's too late. I missed the wave, or I don't want to be a dancer on TikTok. I don't want to be an influencer, but it's bringing you deals. So if somebody's a real estate agent and they know they need to be using social media, but they aren't, what are some reasons why you think people should be using social media in their real estate business?
I would say it's very important, again, to build the trust, and that social media allows people, again, to get to know, like, and trust you. There's so many fake influencers online. So being on camera, speaking, that allows people to filter out the real versus the fake. And then also you will be able to find people that resonate with you, because everyone is not for everyone. So when people get to see you, when people get to hear you speak, that allows them to make a decision. Okay, I think I could work well with this person, or I don't think it works well. So it filters out the leads as well. So then primarily the people that you do get in contact with, you guys are ready to do business. There's not a lot of rapport that's needed. Most people come to me and they say, like, I feel like I already know you.
Right.
Because I've seen all your content.
Right.
So that's kind of the goal.
Yeah. And so if somebody's getting started, but they're like, man, I'm not as polished as you. I don't have this type of setup. I just got my iPhone. Like, what would you say to that?
Get started. Like I said, in the beginning, I was doing it in the dorms, like in a college dorm room with a little Target tripod and my phone. So it's just getting started, honestly. At the end of the day, like overcoming those limiting beliefs we all had those limiting beliefs. So it's just about overcoming them and understanding there are a variety of different ways you can do social media. If you don't want to be on camera, you can do audio. I know people that don't even show their face. It's just all audio. So it's just a variety of different things. But social media is a tool, I think, 2025 and going forward, you're going to need if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah. And so if I'm getting started, right, and I don't know what to say, and I'm a real estate agent, like what's the simple framework that I can use? Like if they watch this, I want to give people value so that they can leave this video, they can hear your story, they can be inspired by it. But more importantly, one thing that they can do is they can press the record button when they leave from listening to this podcast. So when they see you or they DM you or they see you online and comment on one of your videos, they be like, man, I created my first video from watching the Passion of Profits podcast. So what's a simple framework that somebody can use to create content to speak to their ideal customers if they're looking to get more customers in real estate?
So what I did was I found somebody who was where I wanted to be, and I honestly just modeled them. So I would say go online, find if it's as a realtor, find other realtors that's producing content. If it's as a real estate investor or whatever you're doing, find people who are where you want to be and then just model them. I'm not saying copy 100%, but that gives you a template that you can model, kind of like the intro, the outro, how they do their videos, what topics are they doing. So that's the advice I would give is find someone who is where you want to be and then just model them.
Yeah, and so that's so good because Tony Robbins says if you want to be successful, the only thing you need to do is find somebody that's doing exactly what you want to be doing and model them, right?
Yeah.
And the reason why it's important is because in the beginning, we want to come up with this brand new idea, the newbies, and it's got to be unique. Well, the problem with that is that it's not proven.
Right.
And it's inspiring to you, but the only person that cares about that is you, right? Nobody cares about your story on social media, right? The only thing, they're watching videos to learn, to get inspired, or to have an idea of what to model. So find somebody that's doing what you're doing. All you got to do is just go to the search in Instagram and put in the keyword. And then if you go over to Reels, which is what I did, it'll pull up all of them. And you just look at the views, right? But more importantly, if you look at the feed, you'll see which one stands out to you.
Right.
And so that'll give you all the information. Man, when I first started, there was no framework for what I needed, and it wasn't this easy to create content. So now that's what I'm doing. Going in Instagram or TikTok, searching the keyword and seeing what people are doing. And then from there, you can screen record it or download the video. You really just need to have a hook, the story with 3 bullet points, and then a call to action to follow me.
Yeah.
Right. And if you do that, give some value in the video and do that consistently, that's the personal brand funnel. And then maybe creating some longer stuff on YouTube, like a podcast like this, or just a 10 to 12 minute talking head video where you can really go deep into a topic. And I think if you do that, that's really going to help take you to the next level because now people can just listen in. Right. The more content that you have, the more consumption that somebody has, the easier it is for them to know, like, and trust you.
Right. I agree.
So what's next for you, man? I know you got a book. Tell me about the book.
So last year, I wrote a book, How Anyone Can Get Started Investing in Real Estate. It's kind of new. It's newer. I posted on my social media, but I have to go back down to Miami and shoot more content to kind of go in depth on the book to promote it.
Right.
But I just kind of wanted to give the newbie an opportunity to kind of hear my story as well as see like it's possible for you as well. So the book kind of just goes into my story, kind of what we talked about so far, as well as how I got into my first couple of deals, house hacking, which is the easiest way to get into real estate and build long-term wealth.
What's that?
Over time. House hacking.
Okay. What's that?
So house hacking is when you buy either a single family home or a multi-family property and you live in one of the units and rent out the rest. And the tenants or your roommates cover your mortgage. So essentially you're living for free. So the money that you would have been putting towards your rent or your mortgage, now that's going into savings. So let's say your rent was $2,000 a month and you found a way to subsidize your mortgage by renting bedrooms or renting the studio downstairs or the other units. Now that $2,000 a month times 12 months, what's that? $24,000 a year. So that's enough money for you to save for your next down payment for another property. And you're only getting into it for 3 to 5% down because it's a primary residence.
So you can use like a FHA to get started with that. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Then you put 3 to 5 down, buy a duplex. You live in one side because you got to live in there for at least 12 months, right?
The intention, yep.
Yeah, technically. And then the tenant pays the mortgage for that. And so now you got a income producing asset. It may be zero there, but again, the equity that you get, the cash out refi opportunity that you have, and then you have a physical asset at this point that you can then try to rinse and repeat that. And then you're saving. And I think shout out to my man Smitty the GOAT. He had a viral Instagram video that talked about your very first home should not be a place where you live. It should be an investment. And people went crazy in regards to that. But the premise of it was you want to create an asset and not a liability. And a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket, and an asset is something that puts money into your pocket. And if you use the house hacking strategy, that turns your first home into an asset,
right,
and not a liability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So good. So what's a couple misconceptions about real estate that most people don't really understand with like building wealth that they're not getting, but if they're watching this, there's like one thing that they want to remember that Damon said about how you can get started and build generational wealth with real estate.
The number one thing I would say is real estate is not a get rich quick scheme at all. You have to look at real estate in 10-year increments. So because real estate doubles every 10 to 15 years historically, rents and the value. So if you buy let's say easy numbers, $100,000 house, it rents for $1,000 today, 10 years from now, historically it's going to be worth $200,000 and rent for $2,000 a month. So look at real estate long term. It's a vehicle to build wealth long term, but it's not something that you're just going to jump in and then quit your job and be on the beach. That's not how it works. It's a long-term investment that you have to see long-term and not get caught up in the social media. Oh, it's going to take 6 months and then I'm financially free. Like, no.
Right. So kind of what's some steps that I need to, if I'm like, all right, cool, this sounds great, I want to do house hacking. Like, what do I need to do in order to get started?
Learn. So the first thing I would say is Bigger Pockets. Go on Bigger Pockets. They have a ton of free resources, blogs, articles, videos for you to learn. And then read books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and just learn how this works and how this game works. And then find people from the Bigger Pockets podcast whose stories resonate with you, and then model them. That's what I did.
Yes. Brendan, that was like I think that's his name. He the Big
Brendan
podcast.
Turner, yep.
Yeah, Brendan Turner. And I think the thing that I liked about him is he was super nerdy and like geeky about real estate investing, because I remember listening to the book and I was like, this dude's quirky. But that's what made me lean in on it, because he was so passionate about it. And I learned a lot about real estate investing. I think it's the Burr method that he was teaching, the premise of the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what made me want to start real estate investing. But again, I didn't have the cash flow, the credit score to do it, so that didn't work out.
Right.
But now I am looking for an investment property.
Okay, nice.
Yes. So I looked, there was a new build that I was looking at. So we may need to chat about that too, this is why you need to use social media right here.
Right.
Because I'm actively looking for a real estate investment property. Social media, I'm trying to find content, a person to help me do content, as well as to get people to help use the studio. So when you use content, it brings you all these things. You're trying to find people to help with real estate, tenants, and then investors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty awesome. Well, tell me, if there's one piece of advice, if you can go back and give your 14-year-old self, right? And you're looking at like everything that you've done right now. And if you're like, if you do this one thing, if you focus on this one thing, it'll make everything that you've already done so much easier, simpler.
I would say eliminate distractions, and focus, and primarily, again, find someone faster who is doing what you want to do, model them, and get around them. Learn the habits, learn their thoughts, learn their beliefs. It's going to completely shape who you are, because you're the average of the 5 people you associate with. So I would definitely change my environment and get around people who are playing at another level faster.
Yeah, that's so good. And I came from the South Side of Chicago, so I thought everybody thought, looked, and operated that same way. And when I came to Nashville, that was the first time I saw a Black person that looked normal to me that had an accent that threw me off. And that just blew my mind. And the reason why I say that is because changing your environment allows you to expand your mind past the things that you already believe.
Right.
So exposure equals expansion. And then mentorship. Everybody's trying to do it the good old-fashioned way, which is hustle, grind, do it, bootstrap it. It's a lot of ego tied to that, especially in our community. But if you find a mentor, you can skip the school of hard knocks. Right? Learn from somebody that's already done it. Be an apprentice first, right? It's the first thing they talk about in the Bible, right? Is that person was an apprentice before they became appointed. And you can learn or earn for free or get paid while you're learning how to become an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
And then master a skill, right? You need to master the communication. If there's anything that I wish I would have learned was master the art of speaking confidently and communicating, articulating. And I used to do that when I was waiting tables. I would just have side conversations, and I was practicing everything that I was learning back then to see if it was hitting. And that's kind of what I did. So that's such a good piece of advice, and I resonate with that 100%. So if people are watching this and they're like, man, this is a great conversation. I'm looking to either get into real estate myself, and maybe they want to contact you to join your team, or they're looking for a property like I am. Or maybe they're like, man, I want to put some money behind you into whatever you're doing. What's the best place for them to reach out and contact you?
So I'm on all social media platforms, but primarily Instagram, number 1D Cameron, and then Facebook and TikTok, Damon Cameron.
For sure. Well, man, this has been great. Again, Passion to Profits podcast, bringing you real, raw entrepreneurship journeys, no filter, just the real deal. So definitely happy to have you on. This has been great, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next podcast.